I'm joined now by Prashant Patil, the lawyer representing the 17-year-old at the center of all of this. Thank you, Prashant Patil, very much for being with us. The Pune Police Commissioner, in fact, on this program earlier said that your client had knowledge of the fact that he knew his act could cause death and that therefore the appropriate IPC section will be applied against him. How would you respond?
Sir, honestly, till now we have not received any summons or notice to that effect. The investigating agencies are well within their jurisdiction to find out during their course of investigation whatever evidence has come to their knowledge. With the due process of law, if we are served with any notice or summons, as established by the Juvenile Justice Act, whatever the scheme of the act says, we'll follow the procedure and we will reply to the court.
Mr. Patil, there's a video of your client in a bar, the 17-year-old. The police say that they're confident that the alcohol detection test will come out positive. Was your client under the influence of alcohol above the legally permissible limit when this took place, the accident?
Sir, you would appreciate at this stage, because the investigation is in progress, the way investigating agencies can actually officially make a statement because they're in custody of that evidence. We as defense side, we have no idea about what evidence has been actually been collected. Only when the charge sheet gets filed under 173 CRPC, we actually get to read what has been collected, what has been relied upon, and once we go through the evidence, only then I'll be in a position to comment.
You know, your client, if considered an adult, could face life in jail. That's what the police will be pushing for in court if treated as an adult. Does your client have, an idea of potentially what he could face, life in jail?
See, we all know there are certain amendments in 2019. There are certain amendments in the Act in 2021, August 2021. If any juvenile or child in conflict with law has to be tried as an adult, there is a procedure established which has been laid down by the Honorable High Courts and the Supreme Court has confirmed it. At this stage, I don't want to go on to the details and sound like a very technical and a legal argument, but the procedure has to be followed, is my only submission. If the procedure does get followed, we have a right to be heard on principles of natural justice. So there is a psychiatrist report involved. It's not something which is it will happen overnight. It takes its own due process of law in which we will also participate. If we are heard, we will point out to the Honorable Court that this juvenile or the child in conflict with law cannot be treated as an adult for such cases.
Was your client alcoholic?
Well, honestly, sir, again, as I say, I'm just a defense lawyer. There is no evidence or no instructions to me whether he's an alcoholic or not. That maybe my client would be in a better position to answer that.
What about the role of the father in letting the child drive the vehicle, a vehicle without even a number plate?
See, as we said, there are certain amendments in 2019 and 2021 in the Juvenile Justice Act. For any criminal law to be set into motion in our country, be it the parents, be it the father or anyone, whomsoever it is, the most essential ingredient is knowledge. In criminal law, we call it as mens rea. So there has to be a specific evidence available with the investigating agencies, which will point out that this particular father had complete knowledge about his, allegedly, whether the child is taking out the car or not taking out the car, whatever the case may be. So that knowledge ingredient, until and unless it comes in the form of an evidence, no person can be made an accused.
But what about accountability of the parents?
So accountability for parents in criminal law or in civil law or whichever legal provisions has been defined by the Juvenile Justice Act. So we'll have to follow the act. If the accountability of parents, for example, I'll just for the sake of our reference and to your viewers, I just want to point out what is the section alleged by the investigating agency against the father while making him an accused. Section 75 of Juvenile Justice Act has been alleged. The FIR has been registered under that particular section. There are other sections of Motor Vehicle Act. Now let's focus on the principal section. The main allegations under the Juvenile Justice Act, section 75 and section 77. Sir, at the cost of some burden, even if like a layman we go through the section as it is, what has been defined in the act by the parliamentarians, it talks about a physical assault or an abuse or a willful neglect by the parent so as to expose that particular juvenile or the child in conflict with law for a physical abuse. Now, these metrics, these parameters of law do not fit into this case at all. They're not even an allegations. So you and me can agree, either we are talking about morality or we are talking about codified laws in our country. If we are talking about codified laws in our country, let me point out there's a gazette by Union of India in August 2021. This entire act, especially the provisions of section 75 and 77, have been made non-cognizant. The definition of non-cognizable is like you cannot arrest the person.
No, but here's the
So
bit.
I'm only pointing out what is the law, sir.
No, I understand that. And you're obviously defending your client. But how can a legal guardian get away by saying, I don't know what my child has done? And the law protects that. Why have the term legal guardian at all?
So precisely my point, sir. The accountability issue has to be decided at the stage of charge, once the charge sheet is filed. We are at a premature stage today. It's 3 days for the incident. Investigation is in progress. We have to have faith on the investigating agencies. We all respect the sanctity of the investigation. Let the evidence come on record. Once the evidence is on record in the form of a charge sheet, once the defense gets to read the evidence, only then we'll be in a better position to understand whether there is identified as an accountability or it is not. At this stage, we are completely circumvented.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us. You know, the lawyer representing the 17-year-old. The police have a dramatically different idea of where this is headed, and they believe that the man, the boy who actually ran over those two people, needs to be looked at and treated as an adult. We'll see where that case goes.